Welcome to Design Signatures, a podcast by Fedrigoni, Masters of Paper and Creativity since 1888. Design Signatures is a series of conversations all about design, creativity, special paper, and beyond. I'm Ambra Fridegotto, Head of Marketing at Fedrigoni UK. On each episode, I'm joined by our long-term collaborators, Johnny Sevdos and Danny McNeil, co-founders of Design Studio TM.
In this series, we're joined by international designers
who are shaping the world of publishing.
We'll dive into their stories, how they got started, their thoughts on where the industry is now, and where they see it heading in the future. Today, we're chatting with Eduardo Aires, founder and principal at Studio Eduardo Aires, based in Porto. Hi, Eduardo. Thank you so much for being with us today. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where did you start? How did you get into the world of design?
Hello, good morning. I think that I was conscious about being designer very early in my life because I was raised in Germany, and at the primary school we received lots of visits from banks, dentists, and so on. And since very early, the brand of Stadtsparkasse, a bank logo from Germany, caught my attention. And at 7, I couldn't realize what does this kind of attraction means. But spending more time analyzing this kind of epiphany, I realized that I would like to be a designer very early in my life. So, and being in Germany on the 70s, so I was all the time stimulated by new things and technology and so on. So I started very early to go to banks and to be more confident with my stuff. And later on, when I came back to Portugal, my parents, they live in they were in Germany for a decade. They were teachers there, but when they came back, when I was 14, I told them I want to be a designer. And at that time, it was very, very hard to understand what a designer was or is. Okay, so they were brave. And this is an honor that I attribute to him, also to them, because they were brave and said, okay, I went into a faculty that you cannot imagine because it was a melting pot of different areas like painting, sculptures, architecture, drawing, design.
Cool.
And I became very curious, and I'm still very curious. So that's why our studio is a multidisciplinary studio. So we do coins, we work with theaters, we do branding for cities. Because since very early on my graduation, I was sharing information with big names of the architecture, like Eduardo Sotomora, Álvaro Cisa Vieira. They are both Pritzker Award prize.
Oh, wow.
So, and there was a small guy sharing tables with these guys, and I was. It was like an explosion of emotions and so on.
And how long have you been running the practice for?
Oh, that's very interesting, because I graduate myself in 1987 July, and in September I started 1987. I started teaching and also having my own studio.
Wow!
Oh, wow!
Yeah.
So you never worked for anyone else?
No.
Oh, wow!
Yes.
Living the dream.
No, and looking back on time, I think I'm a little bit naive still, but believe me. But at the time, I was totally naive. So, and no plans, no nothing. So I jumped directly into the pool, and that's it. Let's start swimming.
And what does the structure of the studio look like today? How many of you are there? And is everyone a designer, or you have other disciplines there?
Now, to understand a little bit the equation of today, I need to tell you that previously I achieved working with 25 people. and I couldn't control projects, and I was unhappy. And I've done my first divorce on professional wise. So
Okay.
I said, yes, I don't work on this equation. And I worked then 15 years alone.
Oh
Okay.
wow. Literally on your own. No
Yeah,
employees,
yeah,
no
yeah, yeah,
staff.
yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
wow.
yes.
That's a real change.
Yeah, and then I moved into the equation regarding to people and also of today. So we are in the studio. We are 4 or 5 people. It's like four fixed, and they belong to the team. One one intern or junior designer, and me and Sophia. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it makes six, and the all the financial stuff and thing, it's aside, so we don't have it in
Yeah.
inside of the studio. So we are always 5 to 6 people.
I guess you get to keep
Yeah,
close creative control, but
yeah,
you're working on projects that are
yeah,
far bigger than the sum of your parts, right? That, you know,
but
some of these projects that I've seen you
yes,
do, they don't seem like they're coming out of a studio of that size.
yeah, then the problem jumps into the other side of the river. That means that the other bank. So you need to control the projects. You need to learn how to say no.
Mm.
Otherwise, you are always on that big doubt. 5 people, 6 people, 9 people. No, uh, we accept work. First of all, the work must be commissioned by someone with ethic, with values, and so on. It's like a marriage. So, and sometimes things are not 100%, and I decline projects. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think, and that leads on nicely to something we really wanted to talk to you about. I first think came to know your work, and maybe I should have known your work earlier than this, but the Porto identity really captured my attention. That was, I really noticed that, and I think the world noticed that as a project. I think it's sort of beautifully reductive and simple, and has a great concept
you.
behind it as well.
Thank you.
I was wondering if you could just talk us through that project a bit, and how, first of all, how you came to win such a great project, and sort of how then it sort of came to be what it is today.
When I came up to this project, it was a pitch, okay, competition among 3 studios, and I was the horse that the advisor for culture um, chose. So the other ones I didn't know who they were. So it was a pitch, and I won that pitch. It was 2 months work, and they asked us for an idea to Porto,
Okay.
not for the city hall, not for it, we need an idea for the city more than that.
Mm-hmm.
It was a verbal briefing, not a written briefing,
Right.
and we won. We won, w- and basically analyzing territory, and you will see that I will speak lots of times about territory, but analyzing the city, people, and but going straight to your question is, we won a competition among 3 design studios.
Was it an unpaid creative pitch? How does it work over there? Is
You
that
are you are touching a very hard point.
yeah, I know.
That's, I always fight for work to be paid, to understand ethics and so on. So I asked them, how much do you pay for the pitch? And they said nothing. And I said, so I'm not in. I'm not in. So and we start a discussion. And I said, it's not fair. It's a bad example that a big city like Porto, big city hall, has lots of resources and financial resources. So,
Yeah.
and I start a discussion. Believe me, and I was almost quitting the thing. And but
Yeah.
Is that something that's quite common still in Portugal, or is it becoming less common?
look, to be honest, it's relatively common. But the thing is that I've been through this process a lot. I just lost some clients because they don't like this kind of approach from my side. But to be honest, I can spread the word. I can feel that I'm spreading the words, and the word of mouth is starting, and there are more and more competitions, awards, with everyone being paid.
And I suppose coming from an experienced designer like yourself, it also helps the,
Yeah,
the people that are just starting now, that,
I
maybe
think
they would
so. I
do
think
things for
so.
free just because it's the beginning of their career.
Yeah, and more when came up this topic with the Portuguese Republic branding. I use this topic to speak a lot about this. So I just push a little bit this topic into my relationship with the press. So I know that the message is stronger now, much stronger.
Um,
But we jump into Porto's project like this, a pitch that we win.
I understand it to be tiles that are
Yeah,
informed by maybe historic tiles that you see in Porto.
yeah. The project for Porto is it's very nice because uh, first of all we try to translate a little bit the character of the Porto citizens. I used to say like this a lot of time: if I like you, I invite you to my home to have dinner with me.
Hmm.
So Porto Dot is related with people. We don't have gray zones. Porto Dot is people that say yes or no.
Right.
You can count on us, or don't don't disturb me, please. We don't say, oh, no, no. This is more
Right.
Lisbon.
Okay.
Porto is more than people, so we needed to make like a big picture of the city, and we have very beautiful buildings, uh, and we needed also to share and show. And when we look up to the again to the city, and we noticed that most of the buildings were covered with tiles.
Mm.
That's curious. And if you analyze tiles, they have this kind of grids, okay.
Mm.
And we it caught us the attention. But more than that, there are very iconic buildings like churches, railway stations, castles, convents. They are covered with blue tiles that tell stories. And then from that starting point came the idea: oh, the tiles, they can tell stories. What kind of stories? Oh, we can tell different kinds of stories. It can be related with architecture, it can be related with festivities, it can be related with food. And so we just design kind of a grammar, a iconic grammar, with all the elements that represents things and objects and abstract things that the citizens of Porto can recognize. What we've done is looking back to the territory. For us, me as a designer, territory is fundamental to it's basic, it's compulsory to be analyzed on a project. People will understand us because they walk also through that territory, they use the territory, they
Yeah.
are the territory. So
Mm.
we started to make this answer shorter. We started to translate all the emblematic buildings, all the festivities, all the food, all the wine into icons that people understand. And through the ceramic tiles, with a grammar, a vectorial grammar, we put everything together as an embroidering thing.
And how close to the final creative outcome was the pitch? Did you have to change much? Or did you go in with
Oh,
the idea that you went with?
100% applied. 100%. We didn't change anything.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
wow. And can you
Yes.
just talk the listeners through the project then? What does it look like? Where was
was
it?
the
What was it
inspiration?
informed by?
They asked for this idea for the city, and they also give us like a month and a half to do the work. And I presented myself alone after these weeks of work with my team, with a few elements like a big poster, uh, sample, an example of a motion
Yeah.
that's still running.
Really?
Uh, yes, it's still running. We didn't change anything. A book cover and a T-shirt
Right.
that I swap during the meeting. I was asking to do pee, and I went to the bathroom, and I came up with the T-shirt. And so, yeah, because I just leaned down the posters. They were too big on the table, and look, they they saw the arch of applications. They saw the all the solutions at a glance: T-shirt, posters, book, motion. So on their minds, I didn't need to explain so much,
Mm.
and and it was very curious because at the I presented to the communication director and also to the cultural advisor. At the end of my presentation, they said, "It can you repeat this presentation to the president, to the mayor?"
Right.
I said, "Of course." And I asked them, "With P or without P?" Because it makes part of the performance.
Yeah.
Because I was wearing a shirt and a jacket, and suddenly I come inside of the room with the small logo on my T-shirt.
Lovely.
See,
Like Superman.
Yeah.
because you don't need to explain. Look, this is how the small version of the logo can be applied. Look, comparing with these posters that are lean on the table, like 4 meters, they've seen it immediately and they laugh.
And I think having brave clients with that kind of vision is really, really important. I think that leads really nicely on to talk about another identity project that you've created for the Portuguese government, which has been a hotly discussed rebrand project and has been sort of seized upon for social, political reasons and almost weaponized
Yeah.
as a calling for different political parties. It's a really fascinating story with graphic design at the center of it. Could you tell us a bit about that and the hysteria that's been caused by that as well?
Yes, I need to tell you that for me it was one of the most beautiful challenges, professional wise. So it was amazing when someone called me to do this project. I said I want to do the best I can, because this will show how contemporary we can be, and also how we can work on a digital life like we're having now. So it's like I have the chance to do things right, and the best way, on the best way, and plan also with strategy and so on. So I was so proud to do this, and it was really a big challenge, and also honored to do that.
Was it the similar process to Porto with creative pitch, where you went in with sort of one proposal?
In this case, I think that they were not a visual pitch. They had like different conversations with different designers, and they asked us to present a budget, and I win because of my ideas, and of course also mixed with the price.
Yeah.
But it was also three people always running.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and when I was chosen, I think I was very honored, as I told you, and I was dealing with the prime minister directly.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, because he works with a director with the communication department on his office side, literally on his office, and so I was working with him all the time, with of course this is communication office also. So and the briefing was very clear. It was we want to do something very contemporary.
Mm-hmm.
We want to do something that is suitable to digital media and interfaces. And the prime minister also asked me lots of times to be like brave and to do things new and contemporary and clean.
Was that also representative of the government at the time? Was that what they were trying to do in general, be more contemporary, challenging, or was it just
Yeah.
this project?
It was a government with a majority, so
Okay.
they want to do different things, and this project was much wider. So we want to go deeper into the hierarchy of the all these public departments and so on. So, but the thing was, we want something simple, clear, that the citizens can understand, easy to use, and it was launched on it was a large period of work. It was one of my challenge and projects that I ever had, because um, it's not only to please the prime minister. I don't care. It's to please myself as a designer, as a Portuguese
Yeah.
member. You know? I want to do something that we will be proud of, and also it will be useful, and it will be economically easily
Yeah.
and useful. You know.
Did you have any foresight when you were working on it, when you were sort of working on that early pitch, when you were coming up with this very reductive symbol? Did you think, wow, this is going to maybe cause a bit of a stir, or this is really going to be noticed?
No. The thing, it was so nice because there is an answer for almost everything. When we finalized the graphic solution, we just resend it to Google to analyze through the algorithm of images. And do you know the translation of our work was?
Go on.
It was the Portuguese flag.
Really?
Oh, really?
Amazing.
Amazing. So when we have done this kind of feedback of communication with Google, we said we're there, done. So
Yeah.
and people started to say it changed the flag. We are now from Mali. We are now from Senegal. We are from Cameroon. We have a flag from Africa countries. And I always said that the question is wrongly formulated, because they should ask what is the brand for the government of Mali, or what is the brand of Cameroon for Mali. You understand? So it's not the flag; it's the brand for the government.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
different project. Yeah.
This was a topic for in December for the news of 8 o'clock. Is prime time. So
Really?
yeah, we opened some news on TV with our topic.
I assume that one of the biggest criticisms would have been that it cost money to change everything.
Yeah,
But then
of
it would
course.
have cost a lot of money to go back as well.
Yeah.
So it's
But more than that, look, we don't have time to go deeper on this topic, but we design also a custom type.
Wow.
It's licensed for the government. It's also a way to people and citizens recognize as the government speaking to you. They understand, using that type. So, and that type is customized. It can be translated in more than 250 languages in the world. Okay, so he threw out all this stuff without.
Oh, they got rid of that as well.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy. He has no idea. No, let's put the things on these terms. No one goes to Lufthansa or British Airways, a new CEO, and say, "Look, I'm here. I have new plans. We are going to change the logo of British." Tell me one person in the world to say this. Because it's a country. I will change this, and he has no idea about the costs. No idea about the costs.
That energy that he would have spent in changing the logo back and everything could have been spent
Yeah.
giving back to the country in other ways.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
And do you think that it's changed that project and how it worked and how it developed has changed the way that you approach similar, more infrastructural projects going forward, or did it give you more confidence?
No, it gave me more confidence, of course, and I think that I haven't done anything wrong. I think you like or dislike something. You can be more attached or disattached, but I think honestly, I was professional, and then the client was happy. For me, it's the most important thing.
We'd love to explore your project with the Chilean sculptor Vicente Gajardo. I hope I said that okay. It's a project rich in visual content, but we wanted to know where the format and production of the publication came into play, because they're really integral in the design. So if you could tell us a little bit about that.
I'm a designer for almost 37 years, and one of my big passions is editorial. As a professor, also I designed in 2008 a master degree program, and it's very successful in the Faculty of Fine Arts.
Wow.
And yes, it's a master. It's 100% dedicated and attached to editorial. So editorial design is a passion that I have in my life. And in this case, Vicente Gajardo, I know him very well in life. Uh, well, he belongs to my family. I need to say this.
Right.
Yes. So he is the grandfather of my kids.
Ah,
So yes. So this is a project with lots of passion. It took 15 years to do this project. 1 5.
Oh,
wow.
wow.
I admire him. Admire him, and as an artist, also he gave me lots of perception. As I told you on my backgrounds in the college, I have lots of painters, sculptures. So he is one of them. So he teach me how to look into books as a sculpture, and this project is like a tribute to him. So um, it took 15 years because I was analyzing the contents, and we had lots of pictures that were gathered without any direction. So lots of photographers, daylights, and so on. And I said to him, "Look, we have the text, but we don't have the images."
Mhm.
And so I decided to do like a crazy thing, and I went with a photographer from Portugal, Porto, into Chile. And we have done 14,000 kilometers photo shooting all the pieces.
Wow.
Yes,
Oh, wow.
yes, but under my art direction. So I said to him, I like to this kind of light. I like this kind of pictures with people. I like the perception of scale, and
I'm interested in the editorial choices inside the book as well, in terms of the typesetting. There's really interesting single lines that kind of strike out from one edge to the other.
yeah,
What was your thought process in that?
do you know, Vicente works with stones that, in a certain way, they quote the behavior of paper. You know, because it works the stones like it would be something very smooth. Okay, and I try graphically to also go into the edges of the paper, as so that I tried to print on the edges, on the border, the
Mm.
maximum that I could achieve. So sometimes you can see like a white line also on the boundaries. So I try to translate uh, his kind of equation, doing working with stone.
Yeah.
But now it's my turn to do it the same way, quoting him on paper.
Yeah.
That's the reason. But there is a but. I have another mentor, Venezuelan designer Alvaro Sotillo. Do you know him?
I don't know.
Alvaro, it's amazing. It's Amazing, believe me. Alvaro Sotillo.
Okay, we'll have to look that up. Yeah.
Yeah.
The book seems quite interactive. You have to take it out of the slipcase, and then you said you have to rip open the books to be able to read it. So at what point did the choice of materials influence that? Because I imagine it's such tactile having to read it that you wanted to maybe tie that in with the actual choice of materials, like a rough paper or a smooth paper, or
No, I try to. First of all, I choose a paper that is not heavy, has a lot of volume. It's important for me, and so you can work with the paper with the book as a sculpture, and more than that, I always try to improve performance, physical performance. As a sculptor, you move sculpture, you go around, you intersect sculpture. You can, do you understand? So
Yeah.
I try to translate those kinds of approaches. So it's the book itself. It's an act of performance to achieve the information. That's why. And the cover itself on the white cover has also engraving and emboss of a stone emboss. So everything is very, very, we say subliminar. Do you understand the word subliminar?
It's really sensitive, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
hugely sensitive to the subject matter, and I think that's a theme in your work. We've seen the project for World Heritage Sites Centre, which I won't say. I won't try and say that in Portuguese. Much prefer the English translation. I think that has a really interesting story as well. You know, in terms of the commissioning of the content alongside the actual, consideration of the format and the production of the book. Could you talk us briefly through that one as well?
Yeah. Uh, this is something that I learned through my years of practice, and I try to put it on practice also. Is respect territory, and I used to say to my students, don't don't look far away from the territory because all the answers are on the territory. That's the most important thing. But this territory can be architectural, can be sociological, can be anthropological. So it's not literally territory. It's not earth. It's not. It has lots of meanings. It has this meaning that you need to study the subject, the topic that it's in front of you, and don't search in other ways, because of course you can answer your projects uh, with style
Yeah.
that represents our day by day life, and you can use the type that it's very trendy. You can use lots of things, but uh, this has two views. I'm not against it. The thing is that is going to be vanished very soon, but also it represents the language of 2024, for example.
Yeah.
It is what is common. So I'm not against it, but as I said before, I'm very focused on the territory because it's there where is the perfect answer or the perfect resources to build my answer even better.
We're really interested in the sort of where the intersection between publication design and identity, and where they meet. And your project for Libreria Lello is a real amazing sort of epitome of that kind of
Thank you.
relationship. Can you talk to us about that? How did it come to be? What was the relationship with the project and the client?
In this case, I would say that a word comes out, maybe is strategy. We need to have we need to use lots of strategy because it's a special client. They they own the library, but they also own a monastery.
Oh wow.
They commission a big project with the Alvaro Siza, the Pritzker Prize Award. They have also a business center. They also have lots of real estate in the city. They bought also a whole theater. So when they presented us, it's like we have a 10 years project, maybe 15 years project. And we took a year to achieve the solution. And again, my thoughts were driven to a custom type.
Uh-huh.
So what we decided is to commission a custom type to Dino dos Santos, DST type.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he designed under our direction a multiple master type. So we can generate, as you know, the all the shapes of the type. So we can, and we worked with them 1 year. They are great clients. They like to work closer, and that's something that we like to do. We like to invite our clients to come on board.
Mm-hmm.
So you usually present one solution and not 10,
Yeah.
not 3, one.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. So and we invite them to come on board. But after 1 year later, they said, "Do you know? I think that we are disturbing a lot your work. We are jumping out."
Oh.
And yes, it was very brave from them, but in fact, it worked. 2 months later, we closed the project, and we applied for a strategy based on type. So if you see all the projects that they are involved, it's not only Livraria Lelo, it's also the publishing, the publisher Lelo as well, the foundation Livraria Lelo, the monastery of Baliu, the Leonesa Business Hub. Everything is connected by type, but you can see that the source is the same, but you have different characters.
So
So
you use it in different ways for different
yeah,
applications.
so you can build a universe of projects them, but at the same time they have their own identity. Sometimes we can have some iconography, like in Livraria Lelo we had the blacksmith.
Mm-hmm.
But for example, in Baliu, we had like a window from the monastery. In Leonesa, we changed the O in like a source of images, because they are business. They are business. They are always changing. They are always moving. Yes. So for this, in this case, I would say we use strategy. We use strategy for all our projects, but in this case, probably I would say better, we use type as the graphic element to apply the strategy.
And so what's next for the studio? Are you working on any more major rebrands for cities around Europe or anywhere else?
Actually, yes.
Of course. You're the go-to for this kind of project now.
We are competing into an international project for a European city.
Oh, wow. It was a good guess.
Yes. I cannot.
Good luck.
I cannot say more than this.
No. I don't expect you to.
Of course, we have been invited for big projects in other parts of the world, but as I told in the beginning, as I tell you in the beginning, I refused them because the dots were not connected, and
Yeah.
it would be lovely, but I like to sleep well. I like to to understand. I like to look in your eyes.
Absolutely.
So, and look, I worked for 37 years, and I must be very careful. But on this moment of my life, money is not the most important thing. Believe me.
No. And I think you can see that sort of clear-headedness and confidence in the project, what you're doing. And that comes from having a client that, you have a two-way dialogue with. It's not just a question of, facilitating what they need. It's you're doing projects that you love and that are giving you satisfaction as well.
Yes, that's my first inner question. Do I love this project? Does it touch me? Or does this project keep on my mind working?
Exactly.
And it can be simple work, but wow, I'm fascinated. I'm in love. So it's great. It's great.
Amazing. That's a really nice way of wrapping up. Thanks so much for your time with us. It's been a fascinating walk through your world.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to Design Signatures. Since this is Fedrigoni's podcast with a beautiful printed companion publication called Best of Publishing.
It's made up of 3 parts. Read Me, which showcases the work of the talented guests on this podcast. Choose Me, a fan swatch sorted by how the paper is used rather than the product type. And Footnotes, a practical guide to the art of publishing.
We hope this toolkit and podcast inspire you. Want to learn more? Just reach out. Design Signatures is brought to you by Fedrigoni in collaboration with TM.
We'll be sharing more stories about design, creativity, special paper and beyond.
Follow us on Instagram and visit the Fedrigoni Special Papers website for updates.
Thanks for listening and catch you in the next episode.